Hey guys, welcome back. I want to go over where people are at. I've been seeing a lot of people updating their work and sharing their work, and there were a few questions posted to Classroom that I want to address. So let's do some of that today. First of all, I want to mention how to save and share your work. So when you're in Scratch, I saw that question show up a few times. So when you're in Scratch, okay, anything you're working on, just name it here, and remember that you should be naming things with your last name dash whatever the activity number is, so 6-1 or 6-2 or whatever it is, okay? And you'll see that is noted here, right? So if you're working on this one, it's 6.1, 6.2, and as we do more, they'll just be named accordingly, okay? Put your name in there. Now, the reason you need to put your name in there is because I don't know who's who. When I go to my dashboard, I get given this by default, this no name, okay? And you get a username that is also meaningless to me. And so what I have to do is I have to click here and see your account, see your work. And now this person hasn't shared anything with me, okay? So there's nothing for me to see. I have no idea who this is, okay? Whereas if I go to, for example, Annie here, when I click on hers, so she's saved hers with her last name, 6-1, 6-2. So I can go and check her last name and go, okay, that's Annie, all right? And that's how I figure out who's who, okay? So I can then add names in, so like Ben, Helen, Jacob, Jessica, Jack, Mayan, Bill, Nigel, Patricia, and Reed have sort of done work, and I have figured out who's who by going in and checking out their work and go, okay, this is Nigel. Okay, that's how that works. So just make sure that you do that when you're done with something. You name it and you click share. Okay, when you share it, it'll end up going into this folder here, and it'll get moved into your shared folder, which means I can see it. All right, so that's the first thing. Save it, and as soon as you make a change to something, okay, this shows up. You just click on Save Now to save it, give it the name, and then it shows up in your folder, okay, in your shared folder. So that's that part of it. And most people are getting that. Just a couple of people have that question. If you want to recap that, go to Google Classroom, go to this activity, the first video lesson that I did, and then this answer here, which was sort of in answer to Jacob's original question. Here's a video answering the question, how do I save my work from scratch? Watch that tutorial, okay? And it's like 3 minutes long. Okay, so that's that. Overall, people are doing pretty well. So looking at the work that I have seen, so this, I'm talking specifically about this activity with the ghost, okay? So this guy here, right? You were given a video tutorial and then kind of a challenge to do. And in the challenge, I gave you, where to go here? I gave you these code blocks and I said, try and make this happen. And I had to move the ghost left, move them right, and reset the position. Now, of the people who have finished it, Reed got it right, Nigel got it right, Bill got it right, and Jacob got it right. Those guys, perfect. A couple of people were very close. So Helen, Jack, and Annie, you got the order a little bit mixed up. So let me show you what I mean. And there were a couple of people who were close or used code that wasn't given. So this is all the code you need. You don't need anything else. You don't need any other blocks. You have to modify these a little, but you don't need anything else. Okay, so Jessica, Ben, take a look again at that because the code that you used was in addition to what's here, and you don't need anything else, okay? So just go back and check that out. And then anyone else who's still working on this, if I haven't mentioned your name, either I haven't seen your work or what you have done, it looks like it's still a work in progress, okay? So continue watching this tutorial because I do go through it. All right, so that said, let's see what's involved here. Before I do go over this, I want to show you guys this guy here. I alluded to, or I mentioned when I was doing this, these two forever loops, okay? And I called them forever loops. But I haven't really done a lesson on them, so I thought I would do a quick lesson. Now, some people figure this out, but just for the benefit of the rest of the class, people who haven't, I want to talk about what that does. Now, the name forever loop or repeat loop should give a little bit away about what it does, right? So I put some code blocks here. So this is going to be applied to our ghost, and I click this 36 degrees, 36 degrees, 36 degrees, 36 degrees, 36. That's, I click that 5 times, it's 180 degrees, okay? And I keep on going and that just keeps on spinning around. Every time I click it, it does that, okay? That makes sense. If I take this and I put it into a loop, it's gonna repeat these instructions, right, 10 times. So if I make that 2 and I click it, it does it 2 times. 2 more, 2 more, 2 more, and I'm back to 10, which is 360 degrees. Or I can make this 10, so repeat these instructions this one here, 10 times. I click on that, and it does a full 360 because it's doing 36 10 times. That's my 360 degrees. Okay, so that every time I click it gives me a full rotation. Fine. This guy next. I can now have a forever loop. Forever continues forever, and it just keeps on changing that angle. Okay, it keeps rotating that ghost over and over and over until I do something like either stop the script using the stop button or stop using a piece of script. Here's a code block called stop all. I click on this and it stops my code. Okay, you'll notice that this yellow line or stroke goes around this, indicating that this is being run right now. As soon as I stop it, it stops. Okay, this is running 10 times. As soon as it stops executing, that yellow line disappears. Okay, great. I can stop this, and because this is all in the same script, this actually doesn't make a difference. Okay, so I click this, I hit this script, it still stops. Oops, stop the script. It doesn't. Oh yeah, because sorry, that would have to be part of another script. This would say other scripts in this right. So now when I click this and I go here, it stops. Okay, but for now, that should make sense. Repeat 10 times, repeat forever, stop all. Now, these are only valuable in and of themselves. They need some control, right? And so here we have events. So we've got when the flag is clicked, I'm going to do this. Oops. I do this, the flag repeat, it goes 36 times. 36 degrees, sorry. If I say forever, and I put these instructions inside my forever loop, that's now going to continue forever. Now again, I could just hit stop, but I need to put this inside some kind of event. So I can say when the green flag is clicked, let's stop all. Now you should look at this and go, wait a minute, we're going to have a problem here. Because when I click this, it's going to get this instruction, but it's also going to get this instruction. So if I click this, it sort of starts, but immediately stops because I'm saying whenever this green flag is clicked, run this code, but also run this code. And so those are canceling each other out. So this is not going to work for me in this instance. So let's get rid of it. What I want instead is a different event. Okay, I've got a bunch of events here. I can make it a space bar if I wanted, or when the sprite is clicked, or whatever. There's a bunch of them here. Okay, I'm going to use when this sprite is clicked, and then I'm going to put my stop all. So now, if I hit the green flag, this runs. Okay, and then when I click the sprite itself, this runs. So here we go. There, I run that forever, forever, and I click on the sprite, and it stops. Right? Go, stop, go, stop. Okay, and that's all that a loop is doing. Okay, all it is repeating over and over and over, and this is stopping that script. Okay, so that should make sense. That's a quick introduction to loops. Now, that said, let's take a quick look at this. So this is what you were given to try and make this guy go from left to right and right to left, and then reset. So let's look at what we were given. We're given 3 events. Okay, one click to do something, one space, and one space. So, and then some other controls. Now, to reset the position, I would, from watching people's work, it looked like most people got this right away, knowing that this is going to reset my position. I'm going to say set that to minus or negative 200 and 0. Okay, and I click that, and that resets that position. Okay, negative 200, 0, that was okay. And then by default, I think most people went, all right, well, what do we have left? I need to move left and I need to move right. So let's just assume that because these are even, one of these goes to each of these things. And the question became, what's the order? Okay, what does the order become for this to work? Well, we were going to use the arrow keys, so we know that instead of space, we're going to have a left arrow key and a right arrow key. Okay, and this is going to change the position, so that was pretty straightforward. And if I'm using the left arrow key, I want to change my x by negative 10, and if I'm using my right arrow key, I want to change it by positive 10. And that tells me that if I go right arrow, it moves to the right, and left arrow, and it moves to the left. Okay, that's okay. And I wanted to, and here's where, when I look at a couple of your submissions, people who worked on this, if yours was not going all the way across the page with one click, because that's what we wanted. We wanted to click this arrow once and have it go right across, and then click the left arrow and it will go right across again. Okay, so what we need there is a forever loop. So let's take that forever loop, put these instructions inside the forever loop. So when this arrow is pressed, okay, the left arrow pressed, forever change this position by -10. Okay, so left arrow, and it starts moving left. Now it's still running, but it's at the edge of the stage, so it stops, but it still would be running. So if I moved it back over here and let go, it just keeps on going to the left because this code is still being activated. All right, let's stop that. Do the same thing here. Move these guys down for now. I'm going to put this guy inside here and say, whenever the right arrow key is pressed, forever change the arrow by 10. All right, so then right arrow key. There we go, great. So that's working. And this we just saw was working, so when I hit left, what happened? Okay, well now notice these yellow bars. These code blocks are both being run right now. One is saying forever move to the left by 10, and one is saying forever move to the right by 10. So these are canceling each other out. So neither of them is doing anything because they're canceling each other out. Okay, so this is where the stop comes in. Okay, and this was sort of the challenge that you need to figure out. Okay, so let's stop that and think about this. This is going to stop all. Now, you may have been tempted to try this. One left arrow key is pressed, stop all. But what you'll notice is that this doesn't attach to the bottom. And I want to stop everything and then start this loop. I don't want to stop everything else. So what I need to do here is say stop other scripts. And notice that that changes the bottom of this. Stop all means I can't do anything after this. But when I say stop either this script or other scripts in this sprite, and if this is another script in this sprite, I can say stop any other script and then forever move this to the left. Okay, and I can do the same thing here. Stop other scripts in this sprite and then forever change by 10. Okay, and now when I hit my left arrow key, it stops any other scripts and then moves forever. When I hit my right arrow key, it's going to stop this, right? It stops any other scripts, which stops this running, and then forever moves. Okay, so every time I do it, by stopping the other scripts, you can see that yellow arrow, that yellow stroke disappears. Okay, okay, so that was that tutorial. I think most people who've started are doing okay with it. Either we're close or I don't want to say struggled with it, but like maybe just a little bit of the order of things was incorrect. But that's the solution. Now, if you didn't get it, try it again. And I can't stress this enough. Try, right? Like you can't break this. Just keep on figuring stuff out, and when something works, look at it and go, hey, why did that work or why didn't that work? Okay, it's a real problem solving skill, and this is just logic. If something is working, then it's logical, and if it's not working, then something there is an argument happening. And the argument that we saw here, these two are arguing with each other. One is saying, go left 10, and this is saying going right 10 at the same time. Obviously, that's not logical because that's crossing each other out. Okay, so pay attention to that kind of stuff. I think that's it for now. You don't have any other activities that I'm going to assign. I know some people are still working on this one, which is fine. Watch the tutorial as many times as you need to. Go back and practice this one and just keep on kind of hammering through and kind of trying to see how this thing works and how this code moves around and experiment. And you guys will get it. It just takes a bit of persistence and paying attention. Pay attention to what you're doing. Think about why things work or why they don't. And that's it. All right, good luck, and I hope you guys are doing well, keeping busy, and we'll talk to you again soon, okay? Ciao.